Hey everyone, and welcome to another tutorial brought to you by the Minecrafters. I'm Captain Jack, and in this block spotlight series, we'll be unraveling GregTech one machine at a time and showing you some in-game applications along the way. GregTech adds a ton of awesome machines and a complexity to the game that may make you want to pull your hair out. Greg designed this add-on to balance the modded Minecraft experience and make the game more challenging and long. Once added into your game, GregTech's configuration files will override many of Industrial Craft 2's current recipes, as well as recipes from other mods, making some previously easy-to-craft machines much more difficult to make. If you love the additions GregTech brings to the table but don't like the recipe changes, feel free to change your own configuration files as you see fit to adjust your personal gameplay difficulty or take GregTech out entirely. Crying about how hard it is won't do anybody any good. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an information inoculation in this episode of our GregTech Block Spotlight series. Enjoy. Alright, welcome to episode 3 of our GregTech Block Spotlight series, where you'll never not know how to make a machine because we'll have already covered it in a previous episode. In this episode, we'll be nailing down a total of 7 GregTech machines, mostly because they're all very similar. I know I had stated earlier in the last episode that we're going to be going over the automatic canning machine, but since I figured out that the automatic machines were all very similar, I decided to nail them all down in one episode and not bore you with 7 identical tutorials on blocks that could all be covered in one episode. So let's get started. Now the recipes for all 7 machines are going to be different, but we're going to spotlight the canning machine in most of this episode here. So how do you make the canning machine? Well, basically every one of these machines that we're going to talk about except for one is just a basic machine with a conveyor module placed next to it. And this conveyor module, as we learned in the last episode, stands for some of the automatic transactions that can happen within the GUI of the machine. So let's take a look at that. Now for all the machines that we're going to cover, this GUI looks exactly the same, and I'll show you that in just a second. There's only a few minor differences in the way things are set up here. This first button here stands for energy transfer, and if this is pressed, energy will be transferred to the next machine through the output slot of the machine. This is the conveyor module or transfer items button, and if you press this, items will automatically exit the output side of your machine, and that's the output that you set. This is the multi-faced and single-faced input button, and I'll be showing you a little bit more about how that button works and a little bit better explanation than I gave in the last episode. So all these machines have 2 input slots or 2 inventory slots here and 2 output slots. And anything in this output slot that's already done, if you have the conveyor module pressed, it's going to automatically exit your output side. This slot here is made for batteries. You can put RE batteries, lithium backpack thingy bobbers in here. And that will give the machine power without having to wire it up. Okay. This machine can be placed or moved with the following tools: the IC2 electric wrench, the plain wrench, or the prototype Omni wrench. And again, if you use the electric wrench or the regular IC2 wrench, you're subject to machine parts, and that just means that if you put the machine down and you pick it up with a wrench, there is a chance that it's actually going to turn into machine parts. And machine parts can be good. There we go. Machine parts can be good if you want to bypass a step, and I'll show you that later on in a different machine. If you want to bypass a step and just use those parts from a machine you don't need anymore to make a new one. Now I'll always recommend the prototype Omni wrench if you want to pick up or move your machines around. Now any of these machines, if you right click on the facings, it's going to actually set the output facing. Now normally the default is kind of in the back. This one's not showing it, but if I derp. There we go. Okay. The front's kind of hard to press. This one is going to rearrange the orientation of the machine. See, when I right click on a certain facing, it moves it to the opposite side. So if I right click here, output facing is going to be here. And this is where the energy transfer button and the conveyor module button will output their either power or items. Okay, if I click the top, the output's going to go to the bottom. And that's the same for all these machines. Now the default input and outputs of these machines are as follows. This first slot here, the input is on the sides of the machines, and for the second slot, the input is on the top or bottom of the machine. Now that's on default. If you change it, or if you change the output side, you're going to lose one of those facings in either case, and we'll explain more about that when we go over this button here. Energy transfer mode. This will transfer energy from one machine to the next. if I put my triple meat treat and my tin can in here, what it's going to do is it's going to try to send this to the next block, which it won't because it can't. Or if I take my uranium cell, I don't know why that's actually in there, probably because I was making it in a different part of this. Let's get an empty cell. Let's get a uranium cell and a refined uranium. Okay, you see that this machine is still powered, and this, by the way, is the only way to make straight uranium cells. See that outputted with the conveyor module. This outputted into this chest here, and the output side is actually in the back of this machine. It came out through this red power 2 relay, through the pneumatic pipe, and into the chest here, and it made me a uranium cell. You can no longer combine refined uranium and an empty cell in a shapeless crafting grid. Okay, so transfer energy mode will transfer, because there's no wires, you see there's only one wire here, will transfer energy from one machine to the next, so you can effectively daisy chain a bunch of these machines together to create a little operation, and I'll show you that in a second. Alright, sided and non-sided input, or multi-phased and single-phased input. I put together something of a little bit more understandable setup here. What this is as I've already said, the sides, or the sides of the machine indicate the input slot for this box right here, and the top and bottom indicate the input slot for this here. So if I have it set on double-faced or non-sided, or sided input, then if I take both of these things out, it's not going to be able to put in tin cans to both of these. Now, that put in more triple meat treat because this relay saw that this slot was empty. So if you take these in and out, they're only ever going to fill the side. And if I connect these pipes with a pneumatic tube, it'll kind of mess things up a little bit. So this one will never put in stuff in the right slot, and this one will never put stuff into the left slot. Now if I change this to non-sided input, you see that, it says we can take it and it's going to put it inside the other slot, okay? So that's what that button means there. Upgrading this machine, let's go ahead and take a look at our upgrade board very quickly. I'm going to bang through these pretty quick because you've already heard about it. The overclocker upgrade will increase the speed of your machine by 50% at the cost of 4 times the power. The transformer upgrade will increase your machine by different levels of power. You can go from low voltage, which all these automatic machines take, 32 EU per tick is low voltage, is their maximum default input. Applying one transformer upgrade will be able to make the machine be able to take medium voltage, and applying another one will make it take high voltage. Once you've applied 2 transformer upgrades, which is the maximum amount of upgrades for each of these machines, you can then start applying HV transformer upgrades, will further increase the power input that they can take by up to 8,120 something. The energy storage upgrade will upgrade the internal energy storage of your machine by 10,000, and the lithium battery upgrade will upgrade it to 10,000 or 100,000. The pneumatic magic generator upgrade will allow your machine to take MJ or Buildcraft power, and the RS energy cell upgrade will upgrade the MJ base storage inside the machine. So when you mouse over these machines, you see that it says possible upgrades in the bottom of my screen here, OTBM, and those are all upgrades that are available for every one of these 7 machines. O stands for it can take an overclocker upgrade or multiple. T stands for transformer upgrade, B for battery, and M for Buildcraft upgrade or MJ. So all of these machines can take all of these different upgrades. And the S is for Railcraft steam power, which is useful in versions 1.5 or later of Minecraft, okay? So what do you do with these upgrades? Well, first of all, GregTech made it so that once you apply an upgrade to these machines, you can never get it back. And we're going to use our portable scanner made by putting a crop analyzer and a lithium battery inside an automatic or an assembling machine, which we'll go over very, very shortly. And you can see that this machine currently contains no overclockers or upgrades of any type. If I take one transformer upgrade, right click on the machine, this is going to know that there's now one transformer upgrade in there. If I take 2, it's going to know there's 2. Now this machine also can take 512 EU per tick input because I've applied those 2 transformer upgrades. If I choose to go even farther, because I can't apply any more of these, it'll just open the GUI of the machine. If I take an overclocker upgrade or an HV upgrade, I can apply that once, to make it, hold on. Oh, I'm putting overclocker upgrades in there. Whoops. Transformer upgrades. These things all look the same. I'm wondering why it's not changing. Okay, so now it can take 2048, and now it can take 8,192. Okay, and if I upgrade it with an energy storage cell, you'll see that it went up to 12,000 from its default 2,000. And if I take a lithium battery upgrade and put it inside the machine, it will now know that there's all these different upgrades inside, and it can take 112,000 MJ, and the maximum amount of lithium battery upgrades you can put inside the machine is 10, bringing it to 10 million. Or close to it, anyways, okay, because I put these other ones in there. Now, if you wanted your machine to accept MJ, which is perfectly possible and doable if you want to power your machines with MJ, if that's the only source of power you have, or if you don't feel like converting it over to IC2 power, all you need is to put the MJ upgrade inside the machine, and you can see there it says 2000 of 2000 MJ, and it says the machine is inactive. And if I put in, let's take an upgrade here. Inventory is loaded with garbage. Okay, I can put an RS energy cell upgrade in there, and it will increase it by more. Now you see that this redstone energy cell is outputting power to this machine, so it will work just fine if I put some stuff in here. Just as a little demonstration, got some canned triple meat treat, okay? So it takes MJ fine. You can see that this machine, which does not have an MJ upgrade in it, will not even connect to this wire, so that's really good. Now let's take a look at the effect of overclocker upgrades. I'm going to take some more empty cans. I'm going to put my handful of jelly babies inside here, and it's going to slowly start making cans of babies, I guess. Jelly babies, okay? So it's not going to use very much energy to can this thing, or to put these into a can, and you can check on all the recipes by clicking this arrow here, okay? 10 seconds, 1 EU per tick. There's 215 recipes. Yes, you can put cake in a can. There's a lot of different things you can do with this machine. One of them being, like I already said, is putting uranium in an empty cell inside to make a uranium cell, which is the bad way to do it. If you've watched my videos, you want to breed them. Okay, anyways. So this is not using very much EU per tick at all. Now, this machine, as you can see, if I right-click it with my portable scanner, it says it has one overclocker upgrade in it. So if I open this machine, put some cans of stuff in there, let's get some more jelly babies, and let's fire this thing up. Let's see. There we go. It clicked just once, and it's hard to see because of how this machine works. But anyways, you can overclock this thing up to 4 times. And I did make a mistake in my last video, which I corrected with an annotation. You can actually put 4 overclocker upgrades inside these machines, and they will work. And that's because we've applied a lithium battery upgrade to this stuff here. So there you see it's firing up, and 4 overclockers is going to increase the power this thing takes to 256. Now, since it was only 1 EU per tick to start out with, it doesn't reach that high of a number, but for machines that take more EU per tick to do their transactions, you could get up to like 25,000 EU per tick. It's ridiculous. So be very careful when you apply overclocker upgrades to any of these machines. You're going to want to make sure that you know exactly what you're going to be running through them. And if you want to upgrade them 4 times and only put triple meat treats and jelly babies inside your thing, fine, go ahead. It won't really cost you that much as long as you have a decent input. So overclockers, as we already said, will double your machine speed at 4 times the power, at the cost of 4 times the power. Okay, so be really careful with overclocker upgrades once you put them in. Again, you cannot get any of these upgrades back. Now, once you put them in, if you pick up your machine, they'll still stay in there. So you don't lose them if you move your machine around, so don't worry about that. Now, what happens if you hook up power to a machine that is not properly transformed? If I take a regular canning machine and put it here, you see how it makes an explosion like that? It's pretty big, but that actually doesn't do a lot of damage. But these automatic machines and a lot of GregTech machines make absolutely massive explosions, and it's a little bit different. Okay, that was huge. And you do not want to blow up any of these machines, especially if you have a really compact setup, so be really careful. Also, if you have an internal power storage inside the machine and you remove it with a wrench, there's also a chance that the machine will explode. So make sure all the power is drained out of the machine before you go ahead and use it. All right, let's take a look at the other automatic machines that we have here. We have an automatic compressor, macerator, extractor, recycler, and e-furnace. And the e-furnace just stands for electric furnace. All these are basically made the same way, and I'm going to show you that right now. So the automatic macerator, conveyor module next to a macerator, extractor next to a conveyor module, okay, and so on and so forth. The only difference is this automatic wire mill. Now the automatic wire mill is going to take a diamond or an industrial diamond. It's going to take one of a few different kinds of machine blocks, and the most recognizable one is this regular machine block made by iron. But this thermal expansion machine block here is far easier to make than any of them, so I would probably recommend using that one instead. Okay, and then it's going to require some brass plates and some electronic circuits. So this one's a little bit more difficult to make, but it has some cool benefits, and we'll see that in a minute. All right, now as you can see here, the GUIs of all of these machines are virtually identical except for the little graphics here and here, okay? And they all have the same functions, the power transfer, item transfer, and single-sided and multi-sided input, and the battery slot. And you can click the middle here to see how many recipes that you can put into the compressor. This one has 117, this one has 289, this one has 35, the recycler won't have any, and this one has 150. Now, the downside to using some of these machines is that they're not very fast, and you can only overclock them up to a certain degree. What I'm going to show you here is just a little setup that I have daisy chained a few of these machines together to see how these automatic machines work in conjunction with each other. Now I only have one glass fiber cable here, and the glass fiber cable is going into, let me get something I can click on it with. Okay, it's going into this automatic macerator, and it just ran out on me, so it wasn't fast enough. So I'm going to get a little bit more iron ore and put it inside of here. Okay, so what's happening is I have the power transfer. Oh, there we go. Now I have it. Wasn't set before. I have the power transfer button set and the conveyor module button set, and this is going to process iron and turn it into iron dust. Now this is the fastest you can make this machine go. It's got I put a lot of lithium battery upgrades inside there. Ooh, 11. Oops. Okay. It's got one overclocker upgrade, and if I take an overclocker and try to right-click it on this machine, it's just not going to let you put any more in. So the maximum number on this machine is 1. You can probably adjust that for other ones, but it is what it is. Okay, so this is going to take iron dust, or iron, and turn it into iron dust. It's going to go through this machine, and it should be making this stuff here, because you see, I can't automatically input this in here. But anyways, it's going to take it and it's going to move it from one slot to another. I have the output facing set for this machine. It's on my right over here. It's going to output into this machine. This machine should have its output setting over here, and the conveyor module should dump this through, but for some reason it's having a little bit of a problem with power. This whole system is really finicky, and I honestly wouldn't even recommend using these machines in most cases, but that's for another day. Okay, so this is going to move stuff from one place to another, and then it's going to eventually put it in this e-furnace here. Now these machines actually hold true to that saying that I wasn't sure about last time, is that every minute it will try to output items into its adjacent inventory on the output side, or once these two slots are full, as long as you have the conveyor module button clicked. So this is going to take a second, but it's going to pop these into the automatic e-furnace, and that's going to light up. Now the last machine we have to go over is the automatic wire mill. Let's grab that right now. Now we already saw the recipe for this, but this machine can actually, oh, there it goes, it lit up. It shot something over. Okay, so now it's gone. This machine will take basic ingots and turn them into wire, and it does it very efficiently. Now instead of using 6 copper wire, or copper bars to make, what is it, 12? Let's see. Nope, 6. Okay, you use 3 copper ingots to make 6 uninsulated copper cable. You can actually use this machine to make 3 uninsulated copper cable out of 1 single copper. So this is a really good way of making your copper go a long way. And copper is one of the most valuable resources in IC2 and GregTech. And you can do the same thing with a bunch of different recipes. So maybe this gold cable and the copper cable are the most beneficial things to put through this machine, but you can upgrade it just like any other machine. Looks like this will take all 4 overclocker upgrades. It'll take transformer upgrades. It'll take MJ upgrades. and so on and so forth. So these are GregTech's automatic machines. Basically, they're just variants of the base form of their machine with an improved GUI that's able to automatically move things from one place to another. And we can see this machine working here. If I take this out, it's going to smelt some stuff. So this is a little bit faster than this Macerator over here, which is growing at a snail's pace. And this is also moving energy from one place to the next very effectively, so we can actually see this happening. I wasn't lying to you. All right, I believe that's it. That's all 7 machines and their GUIs or GUIs, whatever you want to call them. Be careful when you're moving these machines, and be careful when you're wiring them up. Make sure they have enough upgrades. And yeah, we'll be going over the portable scanner, I believe, next, and the machine that you need to make it. Even though that machine, I was going to wait till later because it makes some advanced things, but it also makes some not so advanced things. Okay? So that's it. Thank you for watching episode 3. As always, guys, make sure to follow us on Facebook. Our blog is theminecrafters.com. Check us out on Twitch TV. We try to live stream every Thursday. And as always, stay poised, guys.